What's up, guys? Well, I decided to make a quick video on the $350 PC. Haven't made a video on that in a while. Figured I'd run it through a series of benchmarks for people who haven't seen what it can do, and play a couple popular games on it just to show how something like this would run. And this is something pretty much anybody can make, as long as you just take your time and budget and, search in the right spot at the right time. You can find a really sweet deal just like this and be gaming at way better than what consoles can do. Maybe not at the form factor, though. This thing's quite massive compared to any of the consoles. People tend to not include that in their console comparisons a lot of the times. But anyway, figured I'd start this out with a boot test, just to show how fast it boots up. And there it goes. And there we go. It's all booted up and ready to go. Now, let's see. So for our tests, I'm definitely going to run that. I'd run hardware info, but it doesn't scale well on 4K, and I'd have to sit there and fiddle with it and stuff to get it to be visible. Luckily, hardware monitor does not do that. But anyway, let's start off with the classic 3D Mark. And there we go, 3D Mark. And then I'll just run it through the normal tests. Well, here's what it got in Cinebench. I decided I'd run some other benchmarks before going to 3D Mark and whatnot. Starting with Cinebench. Here's how it compares to some other processors. Alright, now we will move on to the next test. Alright, this is what it gets in Geekbench 4. And now we'll move on to the next test. Here's a quick user benchmark. Pretty respectable, considering it's a $350 computer. Alright, and if anybody needs any more time to read all that, you can just pause the video, and we'll move on to the next test. Alright, well, here's a ITA 64 cache memory benchmark. Again, pretty respectable. So now we'll move on to the next one. Alright, here's a quick speed test of the SSD in the system. You can definitely tell it's one of the older style SSDs hooked up to an older motherboard, but still, with the read speeds like that, it still makes Windows nice and snappy. And that's really all it went to do. Especially considering I only paid $12 for the thing. But alright, let's move on to the other two hard drives now. So here's how the Western Digital Blue hard drive did. About what you would expect from a really old hard drive out of an HP. But again, that was like $6 or $7 or something like that, so still it held 640, or technically 596 gigabytes formatted, but you know what I mean, of data. So did its purpose, hasn't failed, hasn't done anything goofy, and it's been in there since the computer's been built. Alright, now let's move on to the last hard drive. Right, so here's what the Western Digital 2-terabyte enterprise drive did. Little tiny bit faster than the old 640 gig Western Digital Blue. Also quite a bit louder. You can hear it ticking away in there, but with as loud as servers are, you would never ever be able to hear it over the server fans. So I knew it might be a little loud, but it's not a big deal. When you're gaming and whatnot, you can't even hear it. Only in a completely silent room like right now can you hear it. And it's just a faint little chatter. Anyway though, on to the next benchmark. Alright, well, here's what we get in Firestrike. Real quickly go through the individual scores here. Alright, now we'll move on to the next one. This is what it got in Firestrike Extreme. Okay, on to the next one. And just for fun, I decided to run a quick Firestrike Ultra, even though I really wouldn't use a card like this for 4K, but this is what it would do. Alright, on to the next one. So, here's what it gets in Time Spy. And on to the next one. So, with this test, it got 6,355. And I'm going to run Extreme 1080p after this, and then 4K optimized. I feel like 4K optimized is already silly, so going to 8K like I usually do with my other two video cards is just, you know, absolutely silly. I don't think it would even be able to do more than like 8 to 10 FPS. Anyway, on to the next one. This is what it got for 1080p Extreme. 2,694. And now let's move on to the last benchmark. Okay, and on the last benchmark, we got 3,813. So alright, now let's move on to some actual gameplay. Okay, so the first game we're going to play a little bit of is, we're going to play a little Blackout on Call of Duty 4 Black Ops. But I figured I'd run through the settings real quick. We're running it at 1080p since it's all like super tiny there for whatever reason. And here's the settings we're going to run. Alright. We'll just do solo. Now, before I get started, I am basically playing on the floor like this, so it's not like I'm doing this for any competitive things. Not gonna probably get any kills or anything. But that's alright, we're just doing this to show how it runs. Not like I'm saying I'm that great anyway, but I'm not trying to get kills or anything. Alright, so let's get started. Alright, well, unfortunately I could not find any games for Blackout. I literally like sat there for like 10 minutes waiting. Oh. Considering I don't even have a hand on the mouse. Alright. Let's respawn. Let's just see here so you can see the frame rate. That's kind of what we get. I just got hellstormed. Anyway, that pretty much does it for that game. I gotta keep these short because there's a bunch of games I want to run. Okay, Apex Legends here. Haven't really played much of this game, so I figure I'll just go to the staging area, or the practice area, whatever, and run around a little bit. But here's the settings we use. Move down a little bit so you guys can see. And alright, let's get it loaded. Alright, here we are in Apex Legends. We're just gonna kind of ignore this guy. Okay, look around real quick. Alright, on to the next one. Alright, here's the settings I use in PUBG. Some people say it's a dead game, but I still have fun playing it every once in a while. And those are all the settings we use. Alright, now let's get that game loaded. Alright, here we are in the training area of PUBG. Runs pretty smooth. We're getting like 116 FPS here. Ow. I got shot in the face. But, alright. That about shows you how that game runs. On to the next one. So in Battlefield 5, here's the settings we use. Alright, go to the advanced tab here. Alright. Play some war stories here. I'll just play that. We'll see how it goes. So it just finished loading. Get about 75 FPS here. Oh, lots of people are dying. Normally I'd be helping them, but I'm basically just doing this for a test, so let's run over here real quick. Ow, stop shooting me. Come on, stick your head out again. Alright, well that takes care of that. Alright, this one went along a little longer than the others, so let's move on to the next one. Okay, on to one of my favorite games, Far Cry 5. Here's what we're running it at. Okay. Just continue this real quick. Alright, it's all loaded up. Getting about 80 FPS, 70. We got Cheeseburger hanging out. Alright, let's look around. It's a cheeseburger. Runs pretty good though. But alright, let's move on to the next one. Okay, I don't play it very often, but I know a lot of people do, so I'm including Fortnite. Here's all the settings I run it at. And now let's get a game loaded. Okay, we're up in the balloon. Alright, let's just jump out. Alright. Run around a little bit here. But alright, let's move on to the next one. Alright, for Metro. Alright, here's Metro. But alright. And on to the last one. Alright, and the last game we're running, Anthem. Here's the settings. Alright, let's get it loaded. Alright, so, on Anthem, just kind of running around town here. Oh, we keep getting stuck. Go up here. Because if I had a freaking tripod for this camera, I'd be able to do a better job. I've got one on the way from Amazon though, so it'll be here soon. The last one I had was cheap and it broke. Which kind of goes to that old saying, you get what you pay for. But alright. Also figure, while this game's running, this is pretty much how loud it gets. It doesn't really get any louder than this. I've been running games on it for quite a while now, so it's already quite heated up. It's not the quietest, but it's not the loudest either. But alright. Let's exit out of that now. And we will just look at all these real quick at the temps. That's what the CPU got up to. That's what the GPU got up to. Pretty respectable. Now my reason for making this video is, this is unfortunately probably the last video I'm going to make with this computer, because I'm going to probably tear it apart, because it's unfortunately just too massive to be a LAN rig, honestly. It's becoming a big pain to move around. So, I'm probably going to just tear it apart, sell all this stuff on eBay, and then buy build a small form factor computer to take to my LANs. But anyway, it was a very, very nice, fun computer to build. Performs very well for how much it costs. But anyway, till the next video, peace out, guys.